We are going to explore the fourth and final installment of our yoga myth inspiration. So as we've worked our way through these mythic stories, we are finishing on the being who is most linked with yoga. So we have looked at Ganesha, we've looked at Saraswati, we've looked at Kali, and we've now going to look at Shiva. There is no being in yoga more linked to yoga. There are so many poses named after different incarnations and avatars of Shiva. There's lots of mudras, there's of course stories. So he is going to be our main inspiration for our practice today. As a mythic being, he's a little wild. He has blue skin. He wears a tiger skin loincloth. He's actually a little bit like a blue-skinned Indian Tarzan. He's got long dreadlocks, has a snake for a necklace, and he likes to meditate in the mountains for decades, centuries at a time even. And he has the odd penchant for a spliff as well, so he smells a little bit like weed. I'm going to tell you the story of Shiva, and then we're going to get into our practice. But while I'm telling you the story, we're going to do Adi Mudra. Now, Adi means one, and Adi Yogi is a name for Shiva. So you want to curl your thumbs into your palm and then wrap all four of your other fingers over your thumb. So you make a really poor fist. Normally we make a fist with the thumbs on the outside, but make a fist with your thumbs on the inside. You can relax your hands down onto your legs, into your lap, whatever feels the most comfortable, and breathe length up through the spine as you soften the slope of your shoulders, closing the eyes, and start to breathe with a purposeful depth. So Shiva was still is one of the main gods in India, and is probably the biggest inspiration in the practice of yoga. He meditated in the mountains for centuries at a time, and of course he grew lonely. He sought for companionship and found it in the daughter of the king of the Himalayas, and her name was Sati. They had a wonderful companionship filled with inquisitive curiosity, questions about the existence of life, and a good giggle every now and again. But Sati's father, the king of the Himalayas, did not approve of their match. Seeing Shiva wearing basically no clothes, having dreadlocks for hair, and stinking of weed, this is not the person he saw his daughter spending her life with. He disapproved to the point where he banished them from going to any celebrations, any parties, any ceremonies. And over time, this started to chip away at Sati and Shiva, and to the point where they turned up to a ceremony at the palace one day. And this, of course, outraged the king of the Himalayas, and he went into a full-on rage fit. Shouting at both of them, being incredibly rude. He'd made a snap judgment and not taken any time to get to know Shiva, and not seen how happy he was making his daughter. It was just his discomfort that he was dealing with. Of course, this made Sati very sad, and this sent Shiva into a rage-filled rampage. And he started slicing and dicing and reaching out for his bow and arrow in the middle of the party, injuring people as he went. But Sati didn't move from his side, and she was caught in the line of fire many times. Once Shiva had calmed down a little, he turned around to see Sati in lumps and chunks on the floor, and this sent him into a deep despair. He gathered all of the pieces of her and he scattered them across the Himalayan mountain ranges. And you can go to these places where these parts of Sati's body are thought to have been laid, and they are called Shakti Pitas. They are particularly poignant places on mountaintops. And because she was laid out on the Himalayas, she became a goddess, one of the first goddesses, one of the most important goddesses, Parvati, who you may remember is Ganesha's mother. And this was an act from Shiva to say sorry, to reincarnate her as a goddess so they could continue to be together. And they were. And this story teaches us to not make snap decisions about people when they're exterior. It also teaches us to find deep compassion for ourselves. So just meet yourself where you are today. Notice how the body feels, how you feel. And release your thumbs from your hands. Give them a little bit of a wiggle. Move your head, your neck, your shoulders. And then just start to find your flow into cat and cow. So scooping that chest and head forwards and up as you inhale. And then curving back and down with your exhale, dropping that head. And feeling that scoop of the spine in each direction. And feeling that fluidity within you. And so much of our modern day yoga practice, we can really think about how we look on the outside, and that can be our focus. But ultimately, it's a way of how we can connect more deeply to the layers within. And as you inhale, rise all the way up through the spine. We're going to take the hands to the sky and then twist to the right. Oh, sorry, eucalyptus. We're going to twist to the right, left hand sweeping across to the opposite knee. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and exhale, twist and deepen. And our practice is going to be filled with a few more pauses today. So instead of that flow element, it's just going to be about that pose. Feeling it, yes, on that superficial layer first, but then beginning to feel it making its way through the layers of the body as your awareness follows in that too. As you inhale, sweeping that arm from behind you and all the way up to the sky so you can come into a big, beautiful side body stretch. Keep those shoulders nice and soft. Make sure there's space around the head. Gazing up, forwards or down, and breathe into that right side body. And then as you exhale, sweep that arm across and down. Bring your spine through to center and find a bow over and down. And let that head relax, of course, but proximity to the floor doesn't matter here. What does matter is the breath that you can find through the back half of your body, specifically through the back of the lungs and rib cage. And as you inhale, roll all the way up through the spine to lift. And we're going to keep those elbows really crossed. And you're welcome to give yourself a hug here. Might have been a while since you hugged yourself, so indulge in that. Or if you'd rather, you can separate the hands from the body and squeeze the back of the forearms towards each other. Now we're not going to go for a link or a loop. I instead, if you're doing this variation, really want you to think about squeezing together and activating. Whether you're in that hug or that squeeze, we're going to start to twist round towards the left and then unravel the arms. So that right hand comes across, left hand goes behind. Inhale, lift, exhale, twist. And again, just feeling into particularly the spine. See if you can relinquish that pull of the leg so you're not trying to get the deepest possible stretch for aesthetic reasons. Instead, really thinking about the sensation. Lifting that arm from behind you all the way up to the sky, and let it bring you across and over into your side body stretch. Again, make sure those shoulders are soft, your head able to move in a multitude of directions. And encircling that arm down and across, bring the spine and head to center and bow over. Once again, breathing into the back of the body. And when we take that deeper breath, we can really feel what I call the inner stretch, a stretch that we can't get muscularly from extension, but a stretch that we can get from a deep breath. You might be able to feel that around the back of your ribs in this moment. Inhale as you rise, and again keep those arms really crossed so you can indulge in a hug for yourself. Give yourself a little squeeze. You can release the hands and then squeeze the backs of the forearms and the hands together. And just see which variation works best for you. Do you need to be gentle with yourself today? Or do you want to find that extra rotation in the depths of the shoulders? And then start to twist round towards the right once again, just feeling into that, and then relaxing the arms. We're going to sweep them all the way back up to the sky, and sigh, let the arms drop. Now relax back into your sit bones. You're going to stretch your feet forwards just for a moment. Extend and flex through the feet. Lift the sit bones up and back. And don't worry about your legs being close together. Have a bit of space between them. It's really good for the lower back. Inhale, reaching high to the sky. Exhale, take a forward fold over and down. But again, don't worry about getting your head close to your legs. Think about getting your chest closer to your legs. So there's more of an upward lift forwards rather than a hug over and down. Breathe into the backs of the legs. Give the toes a little bit of a wiggle. Soften through those shoulders. And then as you inhale, rise up, sweep the feet round to the same side and come up into tabletop position. I'm going to flow through cat-cow, but do each one for 2 breaths. So as you inhale, drop the belly, open the chest to lift the head, cow pose. Exhale, hold it here. Inhale again. And then as you exhale, transition up and back into cat. Push that floor away. Squeeze the chin to the chest. Take a full inhale and exhale here. And dropping that belly down. So we're going to do that once more in each pose. As you inhale, tuck your toes under behind you. Find a nice neutral spine as you exhale. And then we're going to press and lift all the way up and back into downward facing dog. So lift the tailbone to the sky. As always with down dog, move in any way that makes you feel more comfortable and connected to your body and the layers beneath. And swaying forwards, bring the shoulders over the wrists. And we're going to come into plank. Remember, you can always find kneeling plank. I like how that more evenly distributes the weight through the body. And then lower to the ground as if you are resisting gravity. Elbows want to stay nice and close into the body as you lower. I'm going to sweep the forearms forwards and up, coming into Sphinx pose with the left foot coming in towards the sit bones. Just flex through that foot. I'm going to give it a little pulse up to the ceiling. So do that maybe 3 times, nice and slowly. It's small, it's subtle, but it's a significant feeling. Squeezing and lifting. We're going to tuck those toes back and really stretch through that leg. Lift and open through the chest and then relax the toes. Squeeze through that right foot. Flexing it once again, and then we're going to pulse really slowly up and down. Now pushing that sole of the foot up to the ceiling and relaxing. Press and lift, and then tuck those toes. Lift the knee behind you. Again, just refresh, because we can slump down sometimes here. So really lift up. And then exhale, relax the toes, bring the hands in under the shoulders, and then tuck the toes under as you ripple up and back into downward facing dog once again. I'm going to bring the big toes nice and close together. And as you inhale, sweep your left leg all the way up to the sky behind you. Open through the hips, circle through that foot, bend the leg behind you. Find a yawn-like stretch here. And then lower. Ready to lift the other leg all the way up and out. Circle through the foot, really lift that underneath heel high so you can get all of that space. And then relaxing the feet down. Step the feet nice and wide onto your mat and sway from side to side as you start to walk your hands all the way back towards your feet and find a hanging dangle. Sway, rock from side to side. And then roll all the way up to standing. Unfurling as you go, swinging and swaying. And then bring the feet nice and close together. So I'm going to walk up to the top of the mat. I'm going to bob down because my head always gets cut off. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down the warrior poses. So just before Shiva went into his fit of rage at the party, out of one of his dreadlocks came a warrior. The warrior was called Virabhadra, which means warrior. And when you think of yoga, you might think of down dog, child's pose, tree pose, and probably warrior poses. And these warrior poses are named after this point in this story. What happened is, of course, Shiva lost his temper. And I know I've been guilty of doing that in my life. I'm sure you have too. But we've let that rage and that anger come to the surface. And it's not been overly productive for the situation, because losing our temper very rarely is productive. It's an emotional response. So when we do these warrior poses, what we're doing, instead of flying off of the handle, we are finding that strength and we are bringing it in a more productive, constructive manner. So we're going to go through, we're going to hold these poses and really feel the strength, power and grace that they bring us. Because yoga is that filter through which we can pour our body, our mind, our heart, our emotions to then feel more productive and constructive with how we show up in the world. So at the top of the mat, feet are going to be nice and close together. Breathe length all the way up through the body. We're going to circle the arms, connecting the palms over the head. As you exhale, bend through the knees, sit the hips back, and bring your hands into heart center. So we're like chair lightning bolt pose, but arms are in and relaxed. Imagine that your left foot is on a train track and you're going to slide it straight back, but not to the point where you can actually put weight on it. So you're just making a diagonal from head to heel. Step that foot wide out to the edge of the mat and drop your heel down just enough, turn your foot out, just enough to drop that foot down. So you've not got this big lunge going on. It's quite a short lunge. Bending into that front knee, lift up through the body. We're going to squeeze those glute muscles together and gently open the hips so they're towards that top corner of your mat, so you've not got any torsion in this back knee. Bend into this front knee so you can only see the big toe on that foot, and you're welcome to lift through the chest here, hands at heart center, or you can stretch those arms up to the ceiling and find that gaze point to the thumbs. Now holding here, feel that lower back nice and long, feel strong, steady, grounded, ready for anything. but not from a place of rage, but a place of measuredness. And bring those hands down to the ground. We're going to swivel onto the ball of the back foot, stepping the feet together, bend through the knees and rise up, circle and connect the arms and palms to then sit back into your lightning bolt pose. Nice and soft. Find a little hug through the lower belly here so your lower back lengthens a little bit more, and then the right foot's going to train track back. Keep it light, keep it lifted so you can step it to the edge of the mat. Roll the heel in just enough so it comes down and lift the body. Remember the hips open ever so slightly, more to that top corner of the mat than dead flat to the front. Nice bend in that front knee, body lifts, and you're welcome to rise. Again, hold. Feel strong, steady. You could have done absolutely anything today, but you chose to do yoga, and that says something. All of those possibilities, bless me, all of those possibilities, and you chose to be here to work on yourself, to find that filtration of everything you're feeling and work through it. Bring the hands down to the ground. We're going to swivel on the ball of that back foot, step the feet together. Again, bend and rise. Woof. And we're going to go again, this time into warrior two. So we start the same, sitting back, left foot on a train track. This time, slide it even further back. So you have to step onto it. You've got much more space between your feet here. And as you lift the body, roll that back heel down so the back edge of your foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Full 90-degree spin. The body also turns to the side. Keep bending into that right knee. Open the arms and gaze over your right middle finger. Now, out of the warriors, this is my favourite, and this is the one that I imagine in the story Shiva sprung out into. Even though it's warrior two, I just feel ready for battle, if needed, in this pose. It's a real badass pose. Breathing length up through the spine and soften those shoulders. You shouldn't be able to see any of your right toes here because that knee is in such a good bend. I'm so sniffy today, I'm sorry. Ugh. And then circling those arms down, swivel on the ball of the back foot. Again, step those feet together, bend, sweep, rise, connect the palms, and bring the hands into heart center. Last time, flowing on the other side. I'm just going to switch sides so I don't turn my back to you. Circle and connect. Sit and squat. Nice and strong. Don't just plonk here. Use the lower belly. Train track through your right foot. And again, step back into it. Even if you need to do a couple of steps, step back into it. Roll that back heel down. Turn the body. Open those arms out, gazing over your left middle finger. Shouldn't be able to see any of your left toes, and that right leg is nice and long and strong. So it's believed that Shiva's yoga practice really took on a whole new level after this incident. Being able to humbly self-reflect and go, you know what, I don't think I did an overly good job in that situation. I wonder if there's something I can do that will help me in the future. And I think that's the way a lot of people find yoga. Finding yoga as a way to self-reflect, a way to begin to understand the deeper meanings of what goes on through the body, through the mind, and of course in the depths of the heart. So in this warrior, for one more breath, feeling the strength and the protection of those parts of you. When you're ready, circling those arms round and down, swivel onto the ball of the back foot, and we're going to step those feet together to then wander back into downward facing dog. Find that nice deep breath in and sigh. Relax the head fully. Let it go. And then step the big toes together. Lower wide in the knees. Let's soften back into Balasana, child's pose. Relaxing the hips back, bowing the head forwards and down. Enjoying one more deep breath here. And then bringing the hands in under the shoulders. Gently press the floor away to rise nice and high. And then we're going to bring the knees and feet round to the same side, ending where we began in a comfortable seat. And remember, a comfortable seat can be anything you want it to be. Kneeling, legs stretched out, one leg out, one leg in, cross-legged, you pick. As long as your spine can be long and your shoulders can be soft. Relax the backs of your hands to your knees or together into your lap, whichever feels nicer for you. And begin to close the eyes and breathe, just consolidating. It's really humid right now, and I am uncharacteristically sweaty for a day like this. It's very strange. So relaxing and just feeling everything coming back into center. Now, when we tell stories, no matter how fantastical, whether they have a blue Tarzan-like main character, or they're deeply grounded in our own reality, we always learn something when a story is told. Our mind continues to ruminate over the aspects of the story. We link ourselves to a particular part of it. And that's exactly what this story does for the practice of yoga, potentially more than any other. It tells us that we are human beings, we make mistakes, but we are not to be completely defined by that. We can change that narrative. We can change how we would react in future situations. By diving into the depths of ourselves, we can arise feeling not as if we've justified what we've done, but feeling as though we have grown from it. And that is why Shiva is probably the most important mythic being in yoga. Because there is a recognition of mistakes, an overreaction, things that we do ourselves, but always the continuation of coming back to ourselves with a little forgiveness, but most importantly, a yearning to grow, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. As you inhale, circle the arms and connect the palms. Exhale, hug the hands to heart center. And just closing this practice, feeling more unified within yourself. As always, I'm going to close it with a mantra, and this is, as you may expect, Shiva's mantra. Every syllable of this mantra is representative of the Pancha Mahabhuta, the 5 great elements: fire, air, space, earth, and water. Because these elements make the absolute abundant possibilities realistic. So we make all of these complete and utter possibilities, like you could have done anything today, but you chose to do yoga, filtering that through into reality. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shanti.